Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. 1986 just might be baseball's year of the comeback. Remarkable recovery in Kansas City, where a recuperated pitcher rehabilitates from injury and rejoins the action to refute the skeptics. Restoring faith in New York, where the Yankees rally round relief and retaliate repeatedly against all opponents to revitalize their supporters. Rejuvenated Redbirds respond to their critics, reclaiming their position at the top with a rebuttal that reverberates throughout Shea Stadium. Give and take, stroke and counterstroke. That's the reply from the pros when asked what it takes to reciprocate at the plate. So remain where you are, because we'll return for it all on This Week in Baseball. Celebrating our 10th anniversary. American League Review. In New York, the Yankees put a lid on the Brewers. Yankee fans are mighty hungry for a division crown, and the team showed signs of satisfying that appetite by running off with a 3-game sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers. In the opener, Mike Pagliarulo was given the green light to swing at a 3-0 pitch, and Pags parked it downtown for a 2-run homer that stood up as the game winner. It was a chilly night in the Big Apple, and rookie Bob Tewksbury kept the Brewers on ice by going 7 1/3 innings and collecting a win in his Major League debut. Southpaw Rod Scurry was called on to keep the chill on Milwaukee, and he tossed an inning and 2/3 of perfect relief to pick up the save as New York won it 3-2. Next day, skipper Lou Piniella celebrated his wedding anniversary, and Butch Weininger put on a party at the plate by blasting his second 3-run homer this season. Both were game winners. By the way, Butch hit just 5 homers all last year. The Yankees just kept on soaring in the final game, thanks in large part to a banner day with a bat by premier New York hitman Don Mattingly, who got his first game winner of the season by launching a rocket to the wall that drove home 2 runs. Looking pretty as a picture on the mound was left-hander Ron Guidry, who got his second win, giving him a record of 15-2 at home over the past 2 seasons. But the Yankees needed help to close out the victory, and they got it from Dave Righetti, who struck out the side in the 9th inning for his second save of the series and 3rd of the season, while New York made its point by jumping off to a 6-1 start, best in the league. Now, let's focus on a courageous comeback effort that paid off royally. When 34-year-old Dennis Leonard took the mound for Kansas City in a game against Toronto, it marked his first start since the spring of '83. And after 3 years, 4 operations, and countless hours of rehabilitation, the 3-time 20-game winner made a most triumphant return.
There it is. What a truly beautiful moment at Royal Stadium. A 1-0 complete game, 3-hit shutout for a man whose career appeared to be over several times.
I'm a very determined person. You know, when I went through a lot of these operations, a lot of people said I'd never be able to pitch again. And, you know, I felt, well, I like to prove people wrong. When people say I can't, I'm going to try it.
Against Baltimore on May 28, 1983, Leonard suffered a devastating knee injury from which few athletes ever recovered. But he battled back bravely, making his first appearance since the injury in a short relief assignment against Milwaukee at the end of last season.
It was really exciting for me, that first outing. You know, it was a game that we were ahead by a lot of runs. It was just 1 inning, but, you know, the fans in Kansas City gave me a, tremendous ovation, and, you know, it made everything that I've done as far as the rehab, going through the operations, feel like it was well worth it.
California's Rick Burleson feels the same way, because he's back at shortstop after his 3-year absence forced by injury. 34-year-old Burleson had not started in the field since the end of '83. He first injured his shoulder trying to complete a double play against the Twins in '82.
During my first 8 years of my career, I was never hurt. I was an everyday player, and I felt that part of my value as a player was to be able to go out and play every day, whether I could help defensively or offensively. Just being in the lineup, I could help the team some way.
Joe Sambito is now helping the Red Sox. Against Detroit in Boston's third game of the season, 33-year-old Sambito picked up his first save since 1982, when he was one of the game's top relievers with Houston before suffering a career-threatening elbow injury against St. Louis in his last save. 3 examples of never-say-die determination: Boston's Joe Sambito, California's Rick Burleson, and Kansas City's Dennis Leonard. Welcome back to action, men. Now let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's TWIB notes from around the American League. Seattle rookie Danny Tartabull is off to some kind of start. Get this, a home run in 4 straight games, and overall in the Mariners' first 8 games, a batting average above .350, 9 runs scored, and 14 RBIs. The 23-year-old second baseman is the son of former Major Leaguer Jose Tartabull. Andy Allenson of Cleveland is another rookie who's making a big hit. The 24-year-old catcher had 10 base hits in his first 22 Major League at-bats. Indians manager Pat Corrales has to be pleased with his entire team's production at the plate, averaging more than 4 runs and 8 hits per outing through the first 7 games. And now it's time for this week's quiz, brought to you by Nissan, builders of high-quality cars and trucks for over 50 years. It wasn't the best of performances by Milwaukee Brewer pitcher Jaime Kochenauer. In a loss to the Yankees, the second-year right-hander went 7 innings, but walked 9 batters, a new team record. Now, for this week's quiz, can you name the pitcher who holds the all-time mark for most bases on balls issued in a career? Stay tuned for a still active fireballer. National League scene. In New York, the Cards brought back memories of last year. After spending the first week of the season on the road, Davy Johnson's Mets opened at home against St. Louis, their nemesis in 1985. Met fans were feeling mighty fine because Dwight Gooden was on the mound and going good, striking out 6 and allowing just 5 hits. But his lofty pitching was wasted because the Mets scored only 1 run before Gooden departed after 8 innings. As usual, Whitey Herzog's outstanding defense helped keep the Cardinals in the game. Gooden was long gone by the top of the 13th, scored tied at 2, when Met third baseman Howard Johnson committed a critical error with the bases loaded, allowing the Cardinals their first 2 runs in a 4-run inning. It was left to rookie Pat Perry to finish off the Mets and pick up the win, as St. Louis spoiled New York's home opener and raced off to a 5-1 start, best in the league. Speed on the base paths was a big reason why St. Louis went to the World Series last year. And with the Major League leading 16-team steals for their first 6 games, the running Redbirds gave notice that they have no intention of slowing down. Next stop, Los Angeles, where the Giants stood tall against the Dodgers. New San Francisco manager Roger Craig has instilled an upbeat spirit on the team and just maybe a killer instinct as well.
We were like little kids without discipline the last couple of years, and that situation has changed dramatically. Roger's in charge, and he has been since day one. I think that's the biggest difference. We have leadership, and now you see guys really, really busting their tails, and I'm sure it'll carry on through the season.
We're eliminating a lot of negative stuff. I've always been a very positive person. I'm dumb enough to think I can do anything, and I think it's kind of rubbed off. I always set goals for myself. This is one of my motivation theories is that for pitchers, if a guy's going to start 40 games, you know, there's no reason why he shouldn't win 20. If a guy's going to go to bat 600 times. No reason why I shouldn't hit 300. My goal is to have the best ball club that I can have on the field that given day against whoever we're playing, and then try to do everything I possibly can to win that ball game.
Jeff Robinson did plenty to help beat the Dodgers in Game 1, striking out 6 in 2 2/3 innings of relief and getting the win. The score was tied at 8-all when Brad Goulden came to bat in the top of the 12th, and he promptly delivered the game-winning RBI. Dodger skipper Tommy Lasorda could barely bring himself to watch when Jeff Leonard batted. After cracking a 3-run homer in the opener, Leonard unloaded another long ball the next night, and it proved to be the game winner in San Francisco's second straight extra inning victory. Greg Minton got the win in relief, and although the Dodgers took Game 3, early indications are that the Giants are on the way back.
We have a very positive attitude. The players have had a tough spring training, but they seem to like it, seem to feel that they need it, and I think we're going to see a lot of good results from it.
Now, let's review this week in baseball's TWIB notes from around the National League. When Pedro Guerrero went down with an injury, Franklin Stubbs took his place as the starting left fielder for Los Angeles, and Franklin's filling in mighty fine. 3 home runs and 9 RBIs in the 3-game span for the 25-year-old Stubbs, who was about to be sent down to the minors before Guerrero tore up his knee just 4 days before the start of the season. New Padre Marvell Wynn is paying big dividends for Steve Burroughs. In the 7th inning of a game against Cincinnati, Wynn hammered a pinch hit homer, then batted again in the bottom of the 9th with the score tied.
It's hit deep. San Diego is going to win it on a home run by Marvell Wynn. What an afternoon for the former Pittsburgh Pirates.
Next night against Los Angeles, the Padres pulled out another one. Rookie John Kruk came up with a man on in the bottom of the 10th and singled to tie the game. The first big league hit for 25-year-old Kruk. An inning later, Bruce Bochy hit a solo homer to win it. And both San Diego and L.A. went on to set a big league record by starting the season with 10 straight games, all decided by 1 run. Second baseman Johnny Ray has helped Pittsburgh get off to a better start than anticipated. He batted .500 through the first 5 games and collected 9 RBIs, including 2 consecutive game winners, as the Pirates won 3 in a row after losing their first 2 games of the season. Now let's move on to the answer of this week's Nissan quiz. Houston's Nolan Ryan holds the all-time record for walks issued. At the start of this year, Ryan had walked 2,186 batters through 19 seasons. Of course, he's also the all-time strikeout leader with 4,083 going into this year. By the way, the modern-day record for most walks in a season was set by Cleveland Hall of Famer Bob Feller in 1938, 208 in 278 innings. Hey, fans, let's get on the ball with a look at how some of baseball's master blasters do their thing. Behold a baseball bat. In no other sport does the proper use of one piece of equipment consume so much time, thought, and effort, because there's simply no sporting endeavor more difficult than hitting. Boston's Wade Boggs gets hits in bunches. His 240 last season were the most in 55 years. And with help from Red Sox hitting coach Walt Reniak, he's won 2 of the last 3 league batting crowns and sports a .351 career average.
The thing that I try to get all hitters to do is to learn what I call a discipline of the head. And by learning the ability to what I call lower the head on a baseball and keep the head down and still on the ball, it allows you to track the ball a little bit longer, hit it more often, and get more hits. Wade Boggs, in my opinion, the greatest hitter in the last 50 years as far as getting a base hit. He has a real good weight shift. By that I mean he gets back before he goes forward, and he does that with a front leg cock. His front leg has to have a cock in it where he can go back before he goes forward. The other thing about Boggs is that he has a tremendous discipline of the strike zone. He can take 1 strike, he can take 2 strikes, and then he can go to work on the pitcher. What we have here in Boston is the greatest hitter that I've ever seen.
Hall of Famer Ted Williams most often gets that accolade. The former Red Soxer hit .344 over 19 seasons. and developed his own science of hitting.
The very first move you should make is one that has been ignored, the cocking of the hips. It's the root of batting power, and it comes in unison with the beginning of the stride. The lead knee turns in to allow the hips and shoulders to rotate. The hands go back in cocking position. My lead foot strides towards the pitcher. A lot of people say to swing level, which isn't too bad. Others say to swing down at the ball, which I think is real bad. But to me, the ideal swing has always been one that was slightly up, slightly up. If you swing in the opposite plane in which the ball is being pitched from, that your chances of making contact are much greater.
The Science of Hitting by Ted Williams. I read it when I was a senior in high school. Big thing that I got out of his book was patience and discipline, learning the strike zone and knowing what pitches you can hit and what pitches you can't.
Of course, that's easier said than done. But let's hear it from some other top-flight hitters on what they try to do to be successful at the plate, beginning with .309 career hitter Bill Madlock.
It is the hardest thing in sports. I think it's the hardest thing to explain in sports, too, because you're looking at something that's only take a fraction of a second to do. About time it leaves the pitcher's hand, about time to get up onto you. But one base philosophy I try to keep is, we call it Willie Starch. I talked to him about it, is slow feet and quick hands. When you see the ball coming out the pitcher's hand, you put your feet out there slow, and then when you see your ball coming to the strike zone, you got to bring your hands to the strike zone in a hurry.
Literally stay back, not move my body until I see the ball. And when I see the ball as quickly as I can and then react to that ball, I'll basically let my natural ability do what has to be done.
You have to get your weight back, and what I'm saying is when the pitcher rears back to throw, you got to be rearing back to hit. It's like going back and then clashing together when the ball meets there. When you get it back, you have to stay back long enough so that you can see the fastball, so you can see the curveball, the off-speed pitch, and then make your mind up whether you're going to hit it, and then therefore you have to have it all distributed going the other way.
I had trouble getting around on fastball, so I dropped from a 34 to a 32, and I started hitting the ball more consistently. And as a hitter, you want to go up there and at least put the bat on the ball. You want to put the ball in play and make the defense get you out. I found success using it, and I've stuck with it so far.
It seems like when you're swinging the bat good, it's the easiest thing in the world. But when you're swinging the bat bad or in a slump, it's the most difficult thing in the world. I go up there and look for the ball, and if my fundamentals are good, I'm going to hit the ball, and I'm going to hit it hard somewhere. If the ball's away, and my fundamentals are good, I'm going to hit a line drive or a fly ball to deep left. If the ball's inside, I'm going to have just a quick swing, and I'm going to pull the ball. If the ball's down the middle, I'm going to either hit the left center, right center, or hit the ball up the middle. I've been successful doing that, and that's why I do it.
Well, nobody does it better than New York Yankee Don Mattingly, last year's American League MVP, on the strength of 35 homers, 145 RBIs, and a .324 batting average. But however it's done, and whoever is doing it, one thing is absolutely certain. The quest for that perfect swing will never end. Now, it's This Week in Baseball's 10th anniversary flashback, brought to you by Gatorade. Let's flash back to 1981. The scene was Yankee Stadium. Pitching for New York was reliever Dave LaRoche, and batting for Milwaukee was Gorman Thomas. And their battle is now known simply as La Lob.
It was a situation I remember, I think the runners were second and third, and Bob Lemon had just become the manager. He came out to the mound and wanted to know if I wanted to put Gorman on or what we wanted to do. And I said, well, how about if I just throw him my curveball? And Lem hadn't seen it yet. He didn't know what my curveball was, my lob.
Neither did Thomas, or for that matter, just about everybody else. But they soon found out, because this not-so-classic confrontation ended with a strikeout. LaRoche was on the verge of laughter, but Gorman was storming.
What I was really trying to do was trying to hit a home run, because we had blown the Yankees out in that game, and they brought in Dave, and I really didn't know what was going on because he had 2 strikes on me, and then here comes the first one. I said, oh, Christ's sake, what is this? And I'd only played 1 game of slow pitch softball in my life, so I really wasn't sure the proper technique of hitting it.
I threw 2 or 3, and he fouled one off, and then I think he tried to bunt one, and I tried to sneak a fastball, and everyone was kind of having a good time. I think Gorman he was a great sport about it, too, because he was having a good time, and it perturbed him a little bit, maybe.
I guess there was about 20,000 people in Yankee Stadium, and they were hooting on me pretty good, so I Tossed the helmet up and slow pitched it up in the air, and I smoked it. Just shattered it.
But Thomas got a chance for revenge 1 year later, in 1982, again at Yankee Stadium. This time, when LaRoche lofted up La Lob, Thomas connected for La Single to left field. But hey, it sure didn't come easy.
Well, the second time I kind of gave him a little smile, and I was thinking to myself, being a fair sport, I thought I would give him another chance. So this time I think I threw him 8 or 10 straight, and he was fouling them off and pulling them way up in the upper deck. And I mean, the softer I was throwing it, the harder he'd swing.
Finally, I buried one in the left field and got a line drive and got on first base, and a bunch of the Yankees would give me a lot of crap, and more or less tipped my hat and stuck my tongue out, and, you know, it was even.
A fitting way to end La Story. But that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.
Joe Tate and Jack Corrigan will bring you the action when the Tribe continues its weekend series with the Tigers, live from Detroit, tomorrow afternoon at 1:30. The Herb Scores Sports Show is next on WUAB.